I put them as authorized users on my credit card. So that way they could start building credit, and I taught them how to pay their credit cards. Like, don't make installment payments, pay it off every month, so you're building that credit, and plus you get points, like, hello. And so, teaching them how to watch out for due dates. And it's crazy. We used to learn that in school when I was younger. Like, we took how to write a check and
how to balance your checkbook.
So we had a financial class in school. They don't do those kind of things anymore.
Welcome back, friends, to the Shelly Panzarella Show. This episode, I'm super excited for you to meet my guest. She's what I call my sunshine realtor. Anytime I need to pick me up, I give her a call. But she's also one of my dear partners and friend for life. She's my sister in Christ, in coaching, and many different things in faith. And so I'm excited to bring to you Mrs. Tamra Coulter. Welcome.
Right. No, I'm kidding. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me, Shelly.
Of course. I know we always have great jam sessions just in our conversation. So I'm excited to see what we unveil here. So the podcast is all about women leadership, honestly, about your journey through real estate. And so I'd like to start off with that. Tell me a little bit about how long you've been in the business, what brought you into the business.
Okay, great. So I got into the business in 2014, so full time. Prior to that, I was in banking. And I actually got my first license in like 2000, I want to say like 9 or something like that. And but at the time I went through so it may have been, it had to be like 2006 because I went through a divorce, all this stuff. And then I was like, well, I have to get a real job. So I can't do real estate, right? So I stayed in banking and whatnot. And so life passes forward, and loved my career in banking, got to open a bank, start a bank from the ground floor up. We sold a bank, so lots of experience and growth professionally and personally in that journey. And then in 2013-ish, my husband, Mike, he was just like, babe, you should do something different. You've got this personality, you've got, we need people like that because we've bought and sold a couple of houses and it wasn't such a great journey. And so he was like, the world needs more Tamra, so
amen.
I know, right? He's so sweet. So with that, I went and I was like, well, I'm just going to go get tested and see if I can do it because my license had already expired for my original one. So I went, took the test, passed, and was like, okay, now what do I do? So some point in 2014, I decided, I'm going to leave the bank and go into real estate full time. I was going to just jump in, go all in. And that's what I did.
That's
and
awesome.
Hadn't looked back.
So you left your real job to get a real job.
Yes.
Because would you say that, and I hear this all the time, that people think they get into real estate and it's super flexible and you can make your own time and you don't work as many hours.
I would like to meet those people that are able to do that. Right? I mean, even my kids, it's the joke in the house was when they were younger, when they first got cell phones and stuff, there was no cell phones allowed at dinner. There was no cell phones allowed if we were having conversations and, if we're watching a movie, things like that, right? Well, once I got into real estate, I'm the one who was always on my phone. And they were like, Mom, what are you doing? No phones. And I'm like, let me just finish this mess. And they're like taking my phone away. So it was funny how those roles reversed. Because when you truly care, it's hard you have to be there. I can say you know what, I'm going to cut it off at 6:00, but I'm sorry, if I have a client that's, concerned about something or upset about something, or if something has to change, I'm going to deal with it, if possible. I'm not going to say I can do it all the time every night, but I generally am there for my clients until it is done, and then obviously long after as well.
I would agree with that. I think that's one of, the greatest things about you as a realtor is that you really do have such a heart of gold, and just you as an individual, you really do have a heart of gold, and in how you can connect with your clients, how you communicate with your clients, how you can communicate with myself and my team. And it really does show. And obviously the business, because you're a top producing realtor at your company today, and you've been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, 10
consistent
years,
and
that's
busier than
crazy.
ever. Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of wild to think it's been 10 years now.
yeah,
It doesn't seem that long, but yet it does,
yeah.
so it's like it's a good mix, so.
Well, and as a solo agent, have you ever thought to grow a team or?
Absolutely. I think it all the time,
Yeah.
especially when I'm on vacation and there's something that has to happen and I'm like, and I still may at some point, so it's definitely something I'm thinking about more of lately. So there could be a small change that could be coming real soon in the future for sure.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and when you first thought to get into the industry and then you left, obviously, to get a real job, and then you went back, what would you say, or did you even know really any difference between what the industry looked like before because you didn't jump into it like full fledged?
No, no, I didn't. So I did know it was scary at that time because, like I said, I was going through a divorce or just got divorced. And then, so we were buying a house, we sold a house and I couldn't buy a house. And no offense, the person who was helping us was not really helping us because she had an issue with my husband. So it affected everything. Which wasn't very professional, right? There was a lot of things that happened that I was like, oh gosh, I would do this so differently, or I would hear stories because I don't know what I didn't know. So I thought this was just how it went. And
Mm.
so then I would hear stories from friends who were buying homes or selling homes, and it was like this like amazing experience or something. And I'm like, really? Like it's not supposed to be like this,
Yeah.
and things like that. So it was, and I think it was a completely different market when I was first coming in. That's when like the condo conversions were around. 9/11 had just
Yeah.
happened,
Yeah.
all that stuff. So it took forever for my fingerprinting to come in. I remember that I got a job with
Oh.
my mother-in-law and sister-in-law at this condo conversion project. And so because we were waiting for the fingerprints and the cards to come in, I could only be a hostess. So I couldn't talk real estate, couldn't do anything, but I could be a hostess and like open a door, show it. I just couldn't comment on anything,
Mm.
right? So, and then about 6 months it took for my fingerprints to come back.
Wow.
So because of, like I said, all this stuff, I guess, going on with the 9/11, everything was backlogged. It wasn't happening, stuff like that. So, they finally came in. Well, then the broker that we were under ended up walking off the job. There was all kinds of stuff that happened, whatever. I don't even know all the details, but it was showing me like real estate can be pretty, no offense, scary, right?
Mhm.
And now I'm a single mom with 2 kids. And so I think that's why I was kind of like, I don't know if I can do this, so that was like kind of my next experience. So I didn't have a great experience selling my house. And now that I'm like in it, kind of, it wasn't a really great experience. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to keep the bank because I know what's going on. And
Yeah.
it was a great job for me, career for me at the time when I needed it so I could be with my kids and I had flexibility and benefits and all those things,
Yeah.
right, that I needed for them. So so that was a big reason why I had to pull back as well at that time because I was scared because it was completely different than it is now too. And I didn't know about teams, and there's so much you just don't know about, right? When you go get your license, they don't teach you all these things. They
Sure.
teach you the paperwork.
Yep.
Not even the paperwork for the transactions, but just the laws of stuff, but not the actual practicality of being in the business.
So are you saying if you were to do it all over again, would you have jumped into a team first?
I probably would have.
Because you're a
Yeah.
single agent coming in, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I would have, just because I think you would learn so much faster.
Yeah.
So, and where I had to I took the hard road and fumbled along the way. So going back, I probably would join a team.
Gotcha. And I know you've been doing coaching with Buffini Group, right?
Yep.
How long
Oh,
have
yeah.
you been doing that?
6 years now.
So what would you say about that as far as your career? And how
I
it's helped
think
you?
it's great. I think personally, I don't lean into it enough. So that's something I've started to change, and really start to lean into doing that because, again, like with being an entrepreneur or doing anything that you're doing on your own, you have to be in charge of your destiny a little bit there, right? So
Yeah.
you're going to get what you put into it. So once I started attending groups and really reaching out to other agents that are in the Buffini group, commenting in the Facebook groups, guess what? I'm now getting known. So now I'm getting transactions. People are knowing me and trusting me. But if I'm just going to be like, a secret agent or a secret Buffini member or whatever your coaching platform is, then you're not going to get the full benefit out of it, because a coach can only do so much. But if you're not participating, you're not going to grow further.
Yeah. So in the Buffini, a lot of it is networking as well. So when you say get to know the agents, because I think a lot of people are like, well, why would I get to know the agents? You're talking about on a referral basis.
100%.
Yeah. So what percentage of your business is referral from other agents?
From other agents, I want to say it's about 20%. Oh, so I get agents from that find me from the Buffini network. Yeah. I'm also a CRS member, RRC. So I've gotten some referrals from there. People agents that find me online, they like my reviews, I answer my phone, those kind of things. So, and they think I'll fit well with their client that's relocating. So that all comes out really well too.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, and I think people don't realize the benefit in coaching. And so if you had not joined a team, since you didn't join a team, that would have been next step for you, right? Is to have a little bit of guidance. Would you suggest also for a new agent coming in
100%
to join a team and coaching, or coaching?
I mean, one or the other, but do it right away. Yeah. I guess it depends on how disciplined you are, what your experience is too, right? I mean, I think that because there are some people who were raised around real estate, so yeah, maybe they don't need to join a team, right? But they would definitely benefit from coaching, I think. Yeah. I think either way, one or the other is a necessity for a new agent.
Yeah, I would agree on the coaching aspect for new loan officers as well. For us, it's I think for myself, it goes to like you accelerate everything that you're doing. The hardest part is when you're first starting, it's the investment in your future. People don't realize, hey, you're going to spend this amount of money to probably triple, quadruple the income opportunity from that, or the ROI. Yeah. And so how did you get over the investment aspect of it?
I think I heard somebody one time say, if I'm not willing to invest in myself, then how can I ask somebody else to invest in me or trust in me? So if I can't even trust in myself and sharpen my tools and all of those things that are needed to be a top agent, to be a caring agent and things like that, to have my client's best interest, then if I'm not willing to do that for myself and educate myself and stay connected and be the top person I can be for them, then how can I ask somebody else to trust in me?
That's so true. And your journey into real estate really came from you having a bad experience on the other side as a consumer, right?
Right, absolutely.
And I would say how you have built your business and how you care for your clients, like you're complete opposite of what you mentioned.
Complete opposite, yeah.
I mean, you're very much involved in every aspect, which I think shows to one, your experience, right? But also how you want your clients to experience the journey going through homeownership. So I know we've been together for several years, and I'd love to get your take on what it looked like for your business pre-COVID.
Okay.
And then now, and I don't know, some people are like, you mean before rates were low and now rates are high?
Right, yeah.
Whatever you want to call it. Because I think COVID was a shift for us too, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and during that was such a insane time for me. So, because not only were we going through COVID, I was volunteering way too much. So that would be my other tip is learn how to say no to certain things. I have a very servient heart, I think. So it's so easy for me if somebody says, hey, can you help with this? Can you help do this? And you don't realize how much time some of these things can take. So prior to COVID, I was volunteering in the association with different committees and groups and things like that. And then business was doing great. Well, then, if you start doing too much and you're not putting enough time into your daily prospecting, because even though my business is mostly by referral and past clients and other agents, et cetera, you still have to build that database. So guess what? If all my time is going over here to volunteering, then my other free time is going over here to current clients, there's not a lot of time for prospecting, right? And reaching out and networking and doing all the things I need to do to keep that pipeline going forward. So all of a sudden, I'm volunteering like a full-time job. I'm not prospecting. And now COVID hits and nobody was sure what was going to happen. So I was like, well, I'll just volunteer more because nobody's going to buy a house. And boy, was I wrong. So during COVID, I mean, without even doing anything, I was still able to sustain, which I think is really great, where I could have probably really tripled my business like everyone else, but I did sustain, which was great. And I helped a couple different groups write programs for different of their charity events and things like that. So there's a lot of good that came from it.
Sure.
But how it looks now is after COVID, I mean, like you said, I mean, we have so many things going against us now for our clients, right? We have not only the interest rates, which honestly, I don't think the interest rates, if we look back, I mean, we've been at 5%, 6% and stuff before. So I don't think that's even the biggest driving factor. It's the fact that like the home prices are triple what they were, right? So when I got in the business at 2014, let's say, rates were probably around 5-6%. And the average home price was 185 to 220, right? Let's call it. So you take that, we've got that same interest rate, a little higher, but yet that average home price now is 560, so I think that is our biggest challenge is finding the affordable home. People can deal, I think, with the interest rate because that's flexible, but the price is the price, right? So I think right now that is our biggest challenge. And then the fact that people who refinanced during those COVID years, those 3%, 4%, even 2.65, whatever it was, not to quote rates, but whatever it was that they had, they don't want to move out of that. We're starting to see a little bit, I think this year we're starting to see people like, okay, now I have to move. I have to move forward because I'm getting this job in another state. I'm getting the family's moving in with me. Kids aren't moving out as fast as they used to, right? They're staying in their parents' house longer. So parents may need to, stay in their house. So now we don't have the listings like we used to, so I think it's different than just interest rates. There's a lot more going on now than there was even when I first started or prior to COVID. Prior to COVID, 20-year-olds were still going out buying a house, where now they're going to maybe wait a little longer so they can have that down payment. They are afraid of rates, the prices of the homes, et cetera.
Yeah. So is it making your job, I don't want to say harder, but are you shifting in the way that you connect with clients and educate them on this?
Absolutely. I mean, you have to, right? You have to have different conversations with them. You have to, show them a little history so they don't feel so alone right now. So once you can show them some history of like, hey, this is what it used to be. So yeah, you're feeling this pain at, a 6% rate, X% rate. Can I say rates? I don't even
you
know.
Can. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
I just can't say bananas, but you can.
Okay, I can. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So let's say it's a 6% rate and it's a, $500,000 house. Well, think about it, what it was, 20, 30 years ago when, it was a $100,000 house, but it was a 10% or 11% interest rate. So it's flipped, right? So I think once we can educate, and people are making way more money, so for the most part, right? So I think if we can educate our clients and educate the community, then it's not such a shock and it's not such a like, oh, I'm just going to wait. It's like, okay, well, maybe what can I qualify for?
Yeah.
And there's programs coming out every day, like, right? I mean, so there's assistance out there. There's negotiations out there. Getting with the top realtor can help get you some great negotiations. So there's a process to it, but you have to communicate. You have to talk to your clients. You have to have a great team behind you to help move that forward, right? Have a great lending partner, have a great title partner, all those things that can help really make that transaction go smoothly and make your client feel comfortable with the process.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Two things, and I'm going to make sure that I don't forget the second thing because I do want to dive into the value aspect, and this is a little bit on the NAR settlement too and things that are shifting for that. But I did speak a few days ago to some realtors about the value we provide to them. Although you're not on a team, you really do. You have assembled a team around you, right? When you talk about title, lender, home warranty, home inspector, even maybe vendors for repair for homes and things like that. And I think that's important that realtors realize that we're not just a vendor. We're a strategic partner in the
Absolutely.
things that you do, and in helping you from the team aspect, right? And making sure your client's experience from all around the people around you is exactly as you want it to be, right?
Absolutely.
Because we're a
Yeah.
reflection of you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I don't know if you want
100%.
to speak anything around that aspect of
I mean,
building.
I think that's a pivotal part of the business.
Yeah.
I know when I write an offer, I mean, I CC you guys are calling, contacting. I mean, and that shows that other agent and their seller, let's say if it's a seller issue situation, that, hey, this lender's on top of it. So they're not going to have to worry about chasing down follow-ups and statuses and are these people qualified? We get them qualified ahead of time,
Yep.
things like that. Those things that make a huge difference. And you can't do those if you don't have the right team behind you.
Yeah.
Right. And the proof is in the pudding, right? When people keep coming back, when people keep referring, that shows that, your team is doing their job, and it's a partnership all the way, and you
Yeah.
have to have it.
I agree. I agree, and I appreciate you in having us as part of your team. The other thing I wanted to chat about was Scrappy T, I call you. We talk about negotiations because in the last couple of transactions that we've done together, I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to share this, but I'm going to because we won't say who it is. But I mean, you negotiated an amazing seller contribution,
Yeah.
and where we were like, how do we
even do this? Yeah.
Right. I mean, it was almost $50,000 in seller contribution, and one thing from a lending side, you have to make sure you're not over the maximum seller contribution, right? And so I think that also speaks to the team that you have around you, because you can negotiate all that, but you come to somebody who's like, I don't know what you want me to do with this money.
Yeah. Like, I mean, an easy answer would have been like, Tam, we can't do anything with this.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, we are doing something with this. I got this. I fought tooth and nail. We got a reduction in price. We got we got everything that we could.
Yeah.
And again, this was so special because this was a first time home buyer.
Yes.
Who was in their 50s,
Yeah.
that like never owned a home. So this was so special for them, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that we could deliver, I mean, it was, and I couldn't have done it without my team, right? Without the whole team there working hard day and night. I mean, how many times did we have a conversation at 9 o'clock at night?
Can I call you?
Yeah, because it was like, we have to figure this out,
Yeah.
and we did. And it came through, and they are happy, and they get to go in their new home. And it's such a blessing. And it's like, when people are like, gosh, why did you give up banking? I had 6 weeks vacation and a great salary and benefits and all this stuff. And man, that is why. Because when you get to like give those keys and they are crying and hugging and just like they never thought that this was a reality, that is freaking priceless. It's huge, and it's just like, man, it just takes my breath away.
Well, and I feel the enthusiasm. Yeah. And I know that's exactly how you deal with all of your...
like I want to cry right now for them. Like yeah. And I'm working with a couple other first-time home buyers, and it's just like, it is so special. And even people, like we have another client that like they've bought and sold a couple times because they haven't been able to find that right feel or whatever that is, right? But they keep coming back to us because they know we're going to help guide them. They know we're going to show up for them. And we are going to be there and help them find that right feel without, judgment, or without, oh, you know what, we've been there, done that with them. Well, let's focus over here.
Yeah.
We still show up the same for them as we do our first-time home buyer, whether it's a $3 million house or a $500,000 house, and stuff like that. And I think that's what makes it so special too with, our partnership and the community of clients we even bring around us, because I feel like those people are a reflection of us as well.
I agree. I mean, I think it speaks volumes when a client, I mean, I know who you're talking about. They've come back 3 times. For myself, they did a refinance in between that as well. And so I agree. It speaks volumes to just the level of, again, experience as well as the experience that you've given them. Because I think they even went to like a new home builder. And it was one of those things where they felt like, well, if this is not going to happen with my team, I'm out.
Exactly. And they did. They walked away because they couldn't bring us in because they just happened to drive by because they weren't even thinking about looking, and they happened to drive by, went in, and they were like not going to let us be a part of it. The new home, and which is understandable. Like, we know the rules, but our client was like, well, then we're going to keep looking. And that is, I mean, that's huge. That
Yeah.
kind of loyalty is just huge. And that is, again, because of the service we provide. And
I
they know we
agree.
have their best interest at heart.
Yeah,
So,
I agree. I agree. So let's shift things a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about investment, but also I'm in that same journey where I'm trying to, my daughter's almost at the age that she's going to she'll graduate and then look to buy a home. And I think it's really important, not only that you're an investor, but you've also taught your children how to be first-time home buyers, right?
yes.
So
yes,
tell
I'm
me a
so
little bit
proud
about that.
of
Yeah.
them. Yeah. So, since they were younger, as soon as they could start, saving up, like they would want stuff, this and that. And they actually even got to a point, I always raised them a little independent. I think sometimes a little too independent, because I wish they would, need me more now,
Yeah,
now
right.
that they are adults.
I hear you. Yeah.
But the good part of that is that, so when they were younger and they'd be like, hey, can we get this? And they actually got tired of asking us for money. So they were like, we're going to get a job. We're going to do this. So I was like, great. Then you can pay your gas. We'll pay your insurance. You pay this. We'll pay that. You do this.
Good.
I'll do that. And so they all started, and then we're like, you need to learn to save money. We're going to open you up a checking account that, and we can monitor it with you. And I will tell our son is probably the funniest example because he would have his checking account down to the penny.
Wow.
So he would be at McDonald's, and he would check that balance. And if he knew he had $8.34 and he spent $8.32,
Get out.
I swear it was hilarious.
That's so funny.
But in teaching them how to save, and it's like, and then if they wanted something big, it's like, well, here's a savings account. Let's show you how to start saving here. I put them as authorized users on my credit card. So that way they could start building credit, and I taught them how to pay their credit cards. Like, don't make installment payments, pay it off every month, so you're building that credit, and plus you get points, like,
Yeah.
hello. And so, teaching them how to watch out for due dates. And cause it's crazy. We used to learn that in school when I was younger. Like we took how to write a check and how to
balance your checkbook.
Yeah. So we had a financial class in school. They don't do those kind of things anymore. So I remember when we were sitting there, I'm like laughing at, like, what do you mean you don't know how to write a check? Like, what? Because I didn't take into consideration, like, they're not learning this in school anymore.
Yeah.
It's hard knock life. So we kind of tease the younger generation that, like, oh, they don't know. It's like, no, because nobody showed them. That's the difference. So it's up to us as their parents. We have to show them how to start saving, how to balance, how to pay bills, all these little simple things in life. But we have to start that. So we did all of that. And then, our daughter, our oldest one, was the first one. She was like, I think we want to buy a house, Mom. What do we have to do? So I said, awesome, let's do this. They were going to move. They moved in with us to save some money. And literally, we found a house like a week later, got them approved, got them money, got them a grant, like all the things that we needed to do. I got them the house, fought tooth and nail to get this house because we were up against
Scrappy teeth.
Right? And it was the start of COVID. So we all know what the
that.
offers were like. They were crazy. We beat out higher offers, better offers, but because I just was relentless, and scrappy, and you guys were on your portion with getting with the listing agent, telling them, hey, we are done. We closed early. All the things that we needed to do to make it such a great transaction. They got into a house, and then that inspired my son. So literally, he moves in with them, and he's like, so Mom, can Hannah and I buy a house? And it was like, yes, you can, son. Let's look at what you got. And he'd been saving money. He'd been doing all those things that we had taught him when he was 15 and 16. And now at 21, he was doing it. And now he was buying a house at 22.
That's awesome.
So super proud of them. Just amazing.
Yeah. When I had Jansen Taylor, who's on another episode. If you haven't seen that episode, make sure that you check his episode out. But he made a statement. He did the same thing. He made a statement though to his kids. Once you're a renter, you will always be a renter.
Yeah.
And so he did the same thing. Come into the house, stay with us, save up your money for your down payment, and then go out and purchase. I'd much rather you save your money instead of putting it away for rent or wasting it away on rent.
Right.
And putting yourself in a position that you could purchase, which they did the same thing.
Absolutely. And I think that's it, right? Because so many of the young adults, I think they literally just don't think like, oh, I can't buy a house.
Right.
Like, so if we don't talk to them and say, well, let's find out if you can. Let's really find. And I say that to all my clients. I don't care if they're 20 or 40, because unfortunately, life happens for some people. And even at 40, maybe you haven't ever thought you could buy a house, right? So it's the same conversation. Let's get you in with the lender. Let's have you talk to Shelly. Let's see where you're at. And let's see, maybe it's not going to happen for 2 years. Maybe there are some things that have to happen. But at least now
Yeah.
right? Like, so let's just have that conversation and start that process. And if it is 2 years from now, guess what? I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be right here with you.
Yeah.
And Shelly's going to be right here with you.
Yeah.
And our whole team's going to be right here with you to make this process. So when you are ready to execute, it's going to be no problem, right? So, because we've got all of our T's crossed, I's dotted, and all that stuff. So, so I think it's conversation. It all comes down to conversation with everything, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's also how you express it, because you're definitely not coming from a place of intimidation or like coercion or anything like that. You come from a place of love, even in you saying, hey, if it takes 2 years, I'm here with you.
Right.
Like, just for them to understand that. I think it's really great, though, that you encourage your kids to seek to have home ownership, because I'm sure they're sitting on some pretty good equity, right?
Some great, I mean, and I'm like, you're not even going to sell this house when it is time. This is going to be your rental property.
Yes.
And so I started talking to them about that. Like, what does that look like, building a portfolio? And of course, they're like seeing the rates and the price of homes. They're like, Mom, that's never going to happen. I'm like, yeah, and you thought you were never going to be able to buy a house.
Yeah.
So never say never.
Yeah.
I mean, that is like literally my motto. Never say never, because it can happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought that when I was divorced and a single mom with 2 kids, and, I never thought I could afford a house without a man, without my husband, without that extra income. And guess what? I bought a beautiful home in Summerlin with my kids, and it was ours, And so never say never, because if it can happen for me, if it can happen for them, it can happen for you, So.
And definitely making sure that you're partnered with the right person to help you through that. Scrappy tea comes out every once in a while.
You know it.
So let's shift gears to when I say you're my sunshine realtor, I really mean it from the place you're definitely a charitable person with your clients, but you're also towards the organization and other organizations that you participate with. So I'd love to talk a little bit about that. Speaking of the association here, so LVR, you are the chair of risk management, right?
Correct.
You've been in the committees and all that other stuff though for many years, right?
Oh yeah. I've sat on forums committee, market trends. I've done leadership, the local leadership and the state leadership programs. I was vice chair or co-chair last year. This year I'm chair of risk management. I know there's probably something else I'm forgetting, but yeah.
So as a realtor, what would you say that does for you and your business?
So what it does is, it keeps me in the know, right? So I'm constantly in the know of what's going on in the business, what's going on locally. You get to interact with other local agents, which is important, because when it comes into a multiple offer situation, guess what? If I know, hey, Shelly, it's Tam, like, I'm going to get the job done. I'm going to do what it takes to make this a smooth transaction for both sides, not just my client. I care about your client too.
Right.
I want everybody to become a win-win. And so by having that personal relationship with somebody, or, serving on a committee and things like that together, you create those relationships where it's like, oh, okay, now it's not a stranger. I know she works hard. I know who she is. And now I can take that back to my client and say, yes, let's work together, not saying that it should, take away from somebody who has a better offer, but there's that sense of security of knowing who else is out there. Absolutely. Yeah. And when I have a listing, I can now send that listing out to the people I know and be like, hey, I want to work with you again. Who else do you know? Like, it's coming soon. It's coming. It's this, that, and the other. So it's a huge benefit. I was one of those when I first started. I was like, well, what's it matter? That's competition. I don't want to I don't even want to know other people. And that was such a scarcity mindset, right? So, I mean, it was just like, wait a second. First of all, my people are my people. Your people are your people. Their people are their people. So if I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, it shouldn't matter, right? And so once you learn that and truly believe it, then you should be out there networking with other agents, not only in your local city, but other cities as well, like all the time. Like, I really do see mad value in that.
When I
And, oh, sorry,
You're
not to
good.
interrupt you, but another thing is, like, let's say I have a situation, right? Now I can say, hey, Shelly, what would you have what would you do think of, or what do you think of this? Or, hey, can you run these comps? Because I'm just not getting the number. Like, so now you have a network of people that can also help assist you.
Yeah.
Again, especially if you're not on a team or something, you kind of are, again, creating a team,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because they're going to help you.
Your network. I think that's the hardest part though, because you mentioned it too. Like a lot of people, it's a doggy dog world, right?
Right.
And that's how a lot of people's mindset is, that scarcity
Yes.
mindset versus abundance. And I think you and I we've gone through that journey through Shield Maiden, know that, together we're going to go farther. I think that's the hardest part for a lot of people to
Yes.
understand, especially getting into an industry where you're an entrepreneur and,
Right.
I can do this all by myself. You can, but
Yeah.
could you go further? Could you go faster? Could it be better for you
Right. Absolutely.
if you allow yourself the opportunity to build good relationships and a network inside of the same city, state that you live in, and even outside, right?
Absolutely.
Based on your
Yep.
Buffini.
Yeah.
Would you say that, because you're in risk management today, you've done multiple forums or multiple committees, what would you say for a journey to start? Is it just to go to general membership or?
Yeah, absolutely. Go to general membership for sure. Do the local leadership. Start with that. I think that's a great program because it gets you in the city, kind of gives you some fun history. You're meeting other new agents, so you can kind of build some new relationships right off the bat with people. Plus, you're meeting seasoned agents as well. So I would definitely highly recommend the local leadership program, and then eventually go into the state program because that is a fabulous program as well. So, and I'm still part of that leadership in a committee sense as well. And like now we get together and we go build homes in Mexico, and I mean that is an amazing feeling to go out there with people and as a realtor association and go out there and build a house for somebody with our hands and gift it to them to where now they're not, having a cardboard box over their head and plastic sheeting around them.
Wow.
It's literally walls and a doorknob and windows that they can open and close. Like it's so beautiful, right? So those are the things you can do when you're involved in the associations on the local level and on the state level.
Yeah. So it's not even about competition at all. Really.
Absolutely
It's
not.
like charitable.
It's collaboration.
Yeah. Collaborate. I love that. And connection as well. And I know by the time this airs, you would have come back from your the VA rep thing that you're about to do, right? It's called She Matters.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that.
So that is a healing camp for veteran women that have been separated from the military and maybe they are going through some things still, right? And so this is going to allow them, we're going to be in Prairie, Montana, and this is going to allow them to learn tools to help with maybe some past traumas that they haven't dealt with, tools to connect with other women veterans so they know that there's a sisterhood for them. They're not alone. And then tools that they can take away, right? And it's financial, emotional, traumatic support, all of that, right? So, and it's funny, this group, they were like, I didn't realize we were going to get financial too. This is amazing because again, financial literacy is just so important for all across the line, right? And so it's going to be a pretty amazing week for these ladies. They're going to learn fly fishing. They're going to go rafting down a river, all these different things to where they can have connection and then finally have a safe space to talk about some of the things that maybe have happened or that they're going through while in the military, separated from the military, and then life today, right? So whether it's 20 years later, 10 years later, whatever that looks like. So it's pretty impressive. It's going to be a great camp.
Well, and I'm excited for you to go through it because I think again, you bring so much to people, but I think it'll also fill your heart as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you do when you are away from business and you're in like a whole week immersed into something like that?
I rely on my team, right? Like the team I created. So I've got an amazing transaction coordinator. So she'll kind of keep the deals together. I have other agents that I've, again, created those connections with where it's like, hey, can you watch my business this week? I'll watch yours when you're gone. So there's that, again, collaboration. It's all about collaboration, right? Especially when you're a solo agent. So so those are the things I do. I do make sure that I'm going to still be able to check in. So I can still check in like once a day, just like, hey, how's everything going? So yeah, you just have to build those relationships with people you trust. So when you are away, there's somebody still there watching it. You communicate with your clients. Hey, this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm gone. Whether it's a vacation, whether it's a volunteer thing, whether it's a meeting, a conference, just let them know. They get it. They'll understand that we have lives too, and
Yeah.
that we have to do things. And so as long as you're communicating and not trying to keep it a secret and wait till last minute and spring it on them, then they're usually very fine too. And they're like, well, I'm not going to bug you. Just tell me who I call, and things like that. So again, it's just setting it up properly so that, there's no unmet expectations, so that we're all in agreement with each other.
Yeah. Agreement is the biggest thing,
Mhm.
which we've learned in one of our coaching
Yes.
opportunities together. Let's talk a little bit about that. So we had an opportunity, we were part of an organization.
Mhm.
We had an opportunity to go through it as actual, what is it? Not patrons, but
Like clients.
clients as the members of the organization. And then we were elevated into coaching the other members in that organization. And so I'd like to share I'd like you to share the experience that you went through from kind of beginning to end, I guess, on it.
Yeah, it was such a great experience. And it's kind of funny because I went into, our experiences were so different, right? I mean, night and day, really. So I went through it twice as a client, so the first time, I don't know, I was like, life's great. I got this. Like, everything's great. Great marriage, great business, like kids, like I'm just going to go because I got FOMO. Let's be real, right? Like everybody else is going, talking about how amazing it is. So let's go. Let's see. And then plus I wanted to see if I could do the physical aspect of it, right? Like I have, as you know, some physical limitations and stuff, just old injuries. So I'm like, I want to see if I can carry a 30-pound sandbag up hills and crawl through dirt and ocean floors and all that crazy stuff and did it, right? And so the first time, I think I was a little more closed off. I didn't really go all in. So being away from it, and then life happened, right? I mean, all kinds of life happened, and then decided, you know what, let me go through it again, and see, and opened myself up, was first rule, be open, right? So I was finally open. And it was such a different experience, such a different experience. And I got so much more out of it. And that's why I say anytime you're going to do anything in life, be open to the possibilities of what it can bring to you and what you can learn from it. Even if you learn one thing, that is one thing more that you didn't know before. So, and I learned an abundance of things, that I take not only professionally, but personally. So, and then to transfer that energy into now coaching the other Shield Maidens, like it was a wonderful journey to watch their growth. And it was like, did we grow like that too? Like, oh my gosh, and to see these women, like, I mean, we had everybody from young ladies up to retired women. It's like, you would think, why would a retired woman want to be here? But there's always growth to be had.
Agreed.
Right? And so I think that was what was so beautiful about the program. And it changed my whole aspect on coaching in general. Even with my feeding coaching, which I've been in for years, it opened my eyes up that I am not utilizing it to its full potential. I'm ready to quit and blame them for not showing up. But let's be real. I was the one who wasn't showing up. Like, if I really want to be raw. So once I started showing up, guess what? It turned out completely different. And now I have like a really good friend in another state that's from the Buffini program. Like, and we've never actually even met in person. It's just all through the connection we've done over the phone and texting and stuff like that, and so there's connections to be had if you're just be open.
One, I know you talked about possibility of growing a team. I know some of that would also be mentorship and coaching element of it too, right?
Absolutely.
And so are you preparing yourself for that as far as?
I am, so that's why I don't want to just jump and do it until I figure out, okay, where am I at with my business? Do I have all my stuff in order? And then when I do, it will be a coaching. Like, it's not going to be just like, oh, here, I'm going to buy you leads, go figure it out. It's going to be a matter of, here, let me show you what mistakes I made and where I grew and what you can do differently, to be better and whatnot. So there'll be a lot of mentoring with it. You know? So
go ahead.
And then if they end up staying with me for a year or two and go off and do great things, then that's amazing. Or if they want to stay forever, then that's amazing too. So there's no expectations there, just an agreement that while you're there, we're going to work with each other, we're going to be honest with each other, and we're going to go all in,
I love that. I like to call it either you're building a corporation or you're building a franchise. So in your model where you build a franchise, you're building up an agent to basically do exactly what you do as far as you as a realtor.
Right.
So you grow them up as a separate franchise, right? Well, they'll go off and do their own thing. As a corporation, you're growing the team. So you kind of expand on the team aspect of what you have, where you've got a TC or transaction coordinator, you have a lender, you have a title partner, you have your warranty, but now you're expanding maybe as a buyer's agent. You've got a buyer's agent or a listing agent. So it sounds like your goal would really be to build a franchise model where you're getting them to come in and learn all the best things from you, and then be able to go and do those great
if
things.
that's what they want. I mean, I think I would love, in the perfect world, it would be kind of a hybrid of the two, right? I mean, I would definitely love for one or two to stay with me forever, you know, and that's just because I'm a very what do I want to say? Like a very loyal person and stuff. So I love connections and stuff. So it's like, I would love for somebody to be like, you know what? We're just going to have fun and keep working together. And that would be amazing, you know? So, but if they did want to go off and spread their wings, then more power to you. I wish you all the best. And I'm going to always be here to help you, you know, in any way I can too. So,
well, I know you'd be an amazing mentor and leader. I mean, you've led your bank and you've led, you know, I think even in the committees that you're in, you're definitely leading those. I know watching you as a coach as well, you know, we played really well with, not against, that's not the right word. We worked very well together, like we do in our mortgage and real estate partnership, but it was always like you have just different perspectives on things, you know, and I think that's one of the things that I respect of you is that I call you my sunshine realtor, but you really do bring a different positive spin. And I always like to think that I'm pretty Pollyanna sunshine, but like you go a whole nother level.
Imagine us together, right?
Well, I mean, we do, right? There were times.
Amazing.
I know for the women that we were able to work with and coach, I know that their hearts were poured into a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think they looked forward to seeing us and like you said, the different perspectives. Even though we're so similar, we can still see things differently. And that's because our experiences have been different, right?
Yeah. So. Yeah. And I feel like my heart's been called to do this, but, you know, I say that we're sisters in Christ also. And, you know, I know we're part of a women's devotional or fellowship called Women in Real Estate Discipleship. And, you know, the thing that I feel like you've always been a few steps ahead of me, and I appreciate that aspect of you because you've always helped me to pull closer to you, but also to Him.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, for you, again, I watched I can see our Zoom calls in our head, and you're like, I just say, I'm going to pray about this house. I'm going to pray about this offer. I'm going to pray about this. I'm going to pray about that. I'm like, I just need to call Tamra because I just need a prayer. And you're the one person.
I'll pray about it. I pray about everything. So I pray all day long.
And I love, because for me, my journey is to become more bold in business.
Yeah.
Well, actually just bold, period, in faith.
Yeah.
But definitely in business. And I'd love for you to just share that. And you don't probably realize that, how it's not that you're bold, but you're definitely not afraid.
Yeah,
right?
I guess you're right. I probably never thought about it just because it's so ingrained into who I am. It's just like, you know, I have no problems talking about God. I have no problem saying I'm a woman of faith. I have no problem praying for somebody. If somebody wants to stop and I'll pray with them, I will say the prayer. I will pray with you. Like I say my prayers when I get on a flight, and I don't care who's looking, and I bow, say my prayers, thank you, mwah, and here we go, you know.
Yeah.
And so I think it just where it comes from, you know, I don't know. It's just life, I think. I think I've had so many things happen, especially in my youth, that I knew there was something or somebody there helping me get through stuff. And I just never felt alone, even in dark times. And I literally have had incidences where I know it was faith, the power of God, whatever you want to call it, like that, angels, like that saved me and got me through something. So, and there were a couple of times, and there was one time in my life where I kind of was going to walk away. I was like, it was in high school, and I just got to a point, I was like, how can there be how can there be a God?
Mm.
Like there's just no way. Like all this stuff wouldn't keep happening and happening and whatever. And something pretty freaking incredible happened. And I swear it was an angel that came and talked to me. And 1 minute she's there in a crowded mall with me talking. People are going to think I'm crazy right now. But and then the next minute, my girlfriend was with me, and I mean, we were crying. She prayed over us and this and that, and we started to walk away. And this woman's in a wheelchair, mind you, okay? And so we start to walk away, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I just feel renewed. And mind you, I'm like 16 or something, right? And I'm just like, I am never going to doubt God again. Like, oh my gosh, like that was the power of God, right? And even my girlfriend was like, I think so. And I'm like, I just have to go give her another hug. Oh. And mind you, we're in the middle of the eating court at the mall. She's in a wheelchair. We're in the middle of all these people. There's nowhere for her to go. We come back. She's gone. She is completely gone. And so I'm like, okay, you go this way. I'm going to go this way because the only place she can go is and we've literally been gone 30 seconds. And she was nowhere to be found.
Wow.
So after that, I never, ever doubted again. And something bad happened to me. I just like, well, there's a lesson to be learned here. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to feel sorry for myself. I'm not going to not to say I never do sometimes. I mean, we all do. We're human. But I bounce out of it really quickly. And I'm just like, thank you, Lord, for actually getting me through that. Or thank you for letting me see something different.
Yeah.
Thank you for being able to, teach my kids something from this experience. I had something happen to me like in my 40s, and I was able to teach my daughters, like, look, this is why you don't, let people take drinks from you or things like that, or bring you a drink, you go get it or something because you just never know, right? It can, anything can happen anywhere, and so it wasn't like, oh, poor me. It was like, well, now I was like, look what mom did for you guys now. Tips on for the team, so it's just, and I don't know. It's just part of who I am.
That's well, and how I know he is a driving force in everything that you do.
Yeah.
And I'd love for you to share how you incorporate him into your business, because I've learned that from you too.
Yeah. I mean, I pray over my business all the time. I show gratitude for my business. Just everything I do is about that. I start my day off with him, in some form. If I'm not reading, then I'm listening to my Joyce Myers. Got to give a shout out to my girl because I love her. She is an honor little thing. Yeah. You talk about a little tornado.
Yeah, she's very similar in some way.
So I just love her. So I'll start with her. And not only do I ask for, like, hey, bless this person or bless this transaction or, God, let it be your will. But I'm so grateful. I'm like, okay, Lord, if that didn't work, then just thank you for us learning this process and help us get through the next one, or thank you for this happening. So I think it's not only just asking, but it's showing absolute gratitude too.
Yeah.
Like, just for the good, bad, and ugly. I mean, there's a lesson and there's a reason, and you just have to have faith. It's called blind faith for a reason, right? And I think I'm just a pinnacle of that, of blind faith, you know, so.
Yeah, I would agree as far as just your stories and how you express them, but also how you share them, and a lot of them being like that story in the mall, the food court, right? Like, crazy to think, and then all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much more to it, but that's like the quick, and a long time afterwards, I was embarrassed because the few people I did tell, they're like, okay, you're crazy. What are you smoking? Like, oh my gosh. And I was like, no, I have a witness, and it was pretty powerful. So, and again, be open. I had to be open to somebody coming up to me at the mall and talking to me.
True.
I had to be open to hearing what she was saying. And somewhere inside of me, I needed it and I wanted it. Like, even though I was playing, like, there's no this and that and the other. It was like, I think somewhere in me, I just always knew, and it's a feeling of never being alone. It's a feeling of, there's just things in this world that you can't explain, and stuff. So it's just, No, I feel better walking with him. I don't want to take the chance of finding out that there is, and I didn't believe. Like, can you? I pray for those people. I'm like, I pray for everybody. I wish they would just all see the light and come and. Could you imagine how much better this world would be? Well, like if we all believed and got along and acted as if Jesus was sitting right next to us? Like, I mean,
that was part of the reason of even putting together the group Wired, just because, in our real estate endeavors, I know actually for me, it was like I had something big happening in business, and I went to two separate people. So one who was faith believer and one who wasn't, or at least I didn't know they were. Two separate opinions and perspectives. And it just made me think, like, I want to be surrounded more around people, women who are really like-minded in business, but also in faith.
Right.
And I'll tell you, for me, I mean, having you as part of that group has really lifted me, but it's all the other women in there that they're in different places.
So different. I
Yeah.
love that too, because those are, again, it's creating a community. And now you created this community that you get to navigate and bring the people in that you are like-minded with, you know, and stuff, and grow. And they're people I probably would never have been able to meet before, you know, and stuff. And so, I mean, thank you for that. Was a bold move to do that, because, you know, so many times people don't want to talk about faith. We're not supposed to talk about God anymore or something. And it's like, and I, you know, my thing is, if I'm going to respect you, if you don't believe, or if you have your different faith in your walk, I'm going to pray for you. But I'm going to respect you and not think anything of it. I still will love you. I will still like be your person, like all those things. I just ask for the same respect.
Yeah.
You know,
because you are a believer. Yeah. No, I mean, I think for me, the Wired group honestly was a selfish ask of
and that's
everybody.
okay.
Yeah, I know for me that was on my heart coming out of immersion a while ago. Like, I want to lead this women's Bible study group. I don't even know what it's going to look like. But for me personally, it was so that I could get closer. And even if I was, so, you know, I'm touted as the one who set it up, you know, but it's the group of women who
that show up every week
and have kept us.
I haven't done lately.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
It's been crazy.
Yeah, no, but even when you are on there, I just think even in our situations, right? Like, we had a deal the other day and you're like, I'm going to pray about it. Let's pray about this one. And it's like that conversation alone wasn't had, you know, 3 years ago, you know what I mean? And, or before. And I don't know if it's because I'm more open to it. You're definitely open in that respect. But I do feel like there's a different call when you're led by, when your business specifically is led by God. I also feel that way in every other aspect of my life. But I feel like we're called more in our business because it is such a pivotal part in our life.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And
why would I, you know, it's like I'm just going to be a Christian on Sunday when I go to church. And then, you know, every other day I'm kicking the dog and this, that, and the other, or whatever. Right.
Yeah.
Like, why would it not be? If it's truly who you are, it's truly who you are. So why would it not be in your business? Why would it not be in your relationships? Why would it not be in who you are?
Yeah.
You know, so my kids know, like, I mean, everything, you know, and they're not as devoted as I am, you know, but I know they have to go through their own walk, and that's okay too. Right. Yeah. But they know who I am, and they know if they need something, they'll come and say, Mom, can you pray about this? Can you do this? Like, so, you know, I think you just have to be loyal to it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And when you believe so strongly, as I know that you do, I think it's, what do they say? You have the aroma of God around you. And that's definitely you. Sunflower, sunshine, and aroma will be. All right. So let's close this out. I know by the time this airs, the whole NAR settlement will be, I think, wrapped up at that point. Things are, you know, will be in place, I think, mid-August. So tell me what you think that's going to look like for your business, if you'll see a change.
I mean, obviously, I think there's going to be some changes, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be bad changes, right? So everything has to have growth. I mean, that's one thing about this industry. Every couple of years, we have to grow with something new, you know? So I have grown a lot. I should be 7 feet tall by now. So I'm not overly worried, you know.
Good.
I'm just, you know, a lot of the things that are going to be implemented, I already implement in my business. So it's not that much of a change, right?
So what would that be? Like, what's one of the things you've already had?
Like a buyer broker, a BBA, buyer broker agreement. I've used those for years, you know, so I don't see that being an issue.
Yeah.
You know, having the conversations about compensation, how that is done that for years, you know. So now I think what's going to happen is kind of like with COVID, right? The first time our rates going up or anything like that, you're going to have that frenzy in the public and amongst each other where they're going to comment on it. They're going to think of it in a certain way. but I think if we just breathe, go slowly, like, let's think about this. Like, a lot of us are already doing it. So really nothing's changed, except it comes back to what we talked about in the beginning, conversations. We're going to have more conversations with the other side. That means we're going to have to be more transparent. And that is not a bad thing.
Agreed.
So to me, there's not a whole lot of bad that's coming. Is it going to make certain things not as easy? Possibly, but that's okay too, because now we're having more communication, we're having more conversations, and we're working together more as a community, which the embodiment of realtors is community. And I wish the public knew more about that, right? Like all the things that we do for homeownership rights and landlord rights and things like that. Like there's so much more than just buying and selling houses that we do. And maybe this is the time that we can start advocating those louder and letting the public know, like, hey, the realtor body is who does this, who promotes these things, who saves you from your property taxes going up. Like, so I think if we just keep having these conversations with our clients on what we do, what service we're providing, there's really nothing to worry about,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I agree with you. Your business has always been around the consumer and, being a good negotiator, scrappy tea for them, but also being a good educator around the process, whether you're helping a client who's listing or seller or a buyer's agent. I do think that for you specifically, your business I think you're going to stand out, honestly.
I kind of think so too, honestly. So I look forward to it, to be frank, so.
Yeah. Well, and I would say this, I mean, if you're a consumer out there and you're needing somebody who's going to stand tall for you, I would definitely reach out to Tamra. What's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Email, calling me. I'm starting to check Instagram more because there are messages coming in
there.
You
got some good videos. What are you talking about?
I know, right? So calling me, texting, email, Instagram, Facebook. I'm everywhere. So even TikTok now. I'm even on TikTok.
Check you out.
I know.
Little Miss Sunshine all over.
I know. Believe it or not, like, it's so funny because everybody thinks like, oh, you're so outgoing, you're so this. And it's like, no, some of it's confidence, like just being, I know who I am, right? And whatnot, but I'm actually very shy, believe it or not. I don't like a lot of attention. So doing videos is like really, like I'm silly. I'm kind of goofy because I'm like so nervous, so, but at the end of the day, it's who I am. So I had to get, again, out of my own way and let go of that fear and be open to just letting myself be out there. And so that's what you're getting. You're getting me.
Well, and I think that's what everybody's going to fall in love with, right?
Yeah.
Is who you are, because there is a distinct you, right? And whatever you want to call it, like I just love our belly laughs that we always have together anytime we're together. And it's just your distinct personality.
I know. Well, I'm addicted to you. So
yeah.
It's like she's just as funny and keeps me in stitches just as much. And I love her. I'm always telling her, I'm like, you're lucky you don't live like near me because I'd be at your house all the time. Like you'd be like, oh my gosh, her and her husband would be like, can she go home now? Because I'd be there all the time.
Actually. I'm just kidding.
There we go.
I think also from a realtor standpoint, I know you are big about collaboration. You're big about coaching, training, mentoring. If you're a realtor out there today, maybe you're having a tough time. Maybe you just want a little bit of ray of sunshine from Ms. Tamra. I would also encourage you to check you out. I do think you did another thing. You invested in your business by hiring somebody to help you with your social media, right?
I did, yes, finally. And that has helped so much, just, taking a little piece off, and my next step is looking for an assistant, like an in-house like assistant, things like that.
You want to put your hire?
Yeah, so in office, in the house, like give me a call if you're looking.
So she's looking for a good assistant.
That's right. I think that's going to be the next step. And then from there, we'll discuss, that building the corporation franchise hybrid model. So.
Well, I just appreciate you. I appreciate your time coming here. I appreciate you sharing all your wisdom, and I just appreciate our partnership, and I love you to death. And
ditto, girl. I love you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pray for you.
Yeah, you too. You too. If you need a little prayer, make sure that you hit Tamra up as well, because she's really good at prayers. But I want to thank you so much for joining the Shelly Panzarella Show. Make sure that you share, subscribe, also connect with Tamra on all of her Instagram and social media platforms. And with that said, have an amazing day. Bye.